Imagine a character who appears out of nowhere, with no past and no future, shares a meal with the great patriarch Abraham, blesses him, and then vanishes from the story entirely, only to become a subject of speculation and mystery for thousands of years. Listen, the Bible is full of fascinating figures, but none are as enigmatic, as utterly mysterious as the man called Melchizedek. His story is a brief, brilliant flash in the Old Testament that somehow casts a long, long shadow all the way into the New Testament, leaving scholars, theologians, and curious readers asking one simple, burning question: who in the world was he? Our story begins in the 14th chapter of Genesis. Abraham's nephew, Lot, has been captured during a great war between several ancient kings. Abraham, a powerful chieftain himself, gathers his own fighting men, launches a daring rescue mission, and successfully brings back Lot, all the people, and all the plunder. Now, as Abraham returns victorious, two kings come out to meet him.
The first is the king of Sodom, a city known for its wickedness. He's interested in a deal. He wants his people back, but tells Abram he can keep all the recovered goods for himself. It's a test of Abraham's integrity, a potential trap to later say that the king of Sodom made Abraham rich. But it's the other king who changes everything. The Bible introduces him like this: "And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram." Let's just pause there. Every word here is a clue. His name, Melchizedek, is not a random title. It's a personal name that means King of Righteousness. And he is the king of Salem, which is almost universally understood to be the early name for Jerusalem, meaning peace. So his name and his city's name together mean King of Righteousness and Peace. That is profoundly significant. But here's the real shocker. He is also called a priest of God Most High. This is centuries before God established the tribe of Levi, Aaron, and the entire Levitical priesthood with all its laws and sacrifices. So how does this Canaanite king, in the middle of pagan territory, suddenly appear as a recognized priest of the one true God, the God that Abraham himself worshipped? He has no genealogy. The text doesn't say Melchizedek, son of so-and-so. It just introduces him as if he has always been there. He brings out bread and wine, a gesture of hospitality and sustenance, but one that later Christians would see as a powerful symbol of the communion sacrament. And then he blesses Abraham. This is a huge deal. In the ancient world, the greater person blesses the lesser. So by blessing Abraham, Melchizedek is establishing that he is spiritually superior to the father of the Jewish nation. And Abraham, in response, gives him a tenth, a tithe, of all the spoils of war. This act acknowledges Melchizedek's supreme priestly authority.
And then, just like that, he's gone. The king of Sodom is still talking, but Melchizedek vanishes from the narrative. He doesn't appear again in the entire Old Testament for 1,000 years. Fast forward to the book of Psalms. King David, writing a song about a future perfect king, the Messiah, says in Psalm 110:4, "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek." This is a bombshell. David declares that the coming Messiah would not be a priest from the established line of Levi, but from this mysterious, older, and seemingly superior order of Melchizedek. This sets the stage for the New Testament, where the mystery deepens and finally finds its answer. The entire book of Hebrews, a letter written to explain Jesus Christ to Jewish people, dedicates an entire chapter, chapter 7, to solving the riddle of Melchizedek.
The author of Hebrews pulls apart every clue. He emphasizes that Melchizedek is without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life. Now, the author isn't necessarily saying Melchizedek was an eternal being floating around Canaan. He's pointing out that because the Genesis account intentionally leaves out any genealogy, birth, or death, it makes him a perfect symbol or pattern for someone who is eternal. His priesthood is not based on his family line or ended by his death. It is permanent. Listen, this is the key. The Levitical priests were many because they kept dying. Their priesthood was temporary, but a priesthood based on the order of Melchizedek is eternal. And the author of Hebrews makes the stunning claim: Jesus is the fulfillment of this. Jesus is the ultimate Melchizedek. He is the true king of righteousness and the king of peace, Salem. He is a priest not through a legal ancestry, but through the power of an indestructible life. His sacrifice was once and for all, making the old Levitical system obsolete.
So, who was the historical Melchizedek? Over the centuries, there have been many theories. Some Jewish traditions said he was Shem, Noah's son, who would have still been alive at that time and was a righteous man. Early Christian thinkers sometimes thought he was an appearance of the pre-incarnate Christ, a Christophany. Others suggest he was simply a Canaanite king-priest who genuinely worshipped the one true God, a remnant of a purer faith in a pagan world, whom God used for a divine purpose. The most compelling answer is that he was likely a historical figure, a real king of Jerusalem, but that the biblical author, under God's inspiration, presented him in a specific, mysterious way to create a blueprint. He was a living prophecy, a God-given pattern pointing forward to a perfect priest and king who was to come. His brief, mysterious appearance was a moment where life itself became a prophecy.
So the mystery of Melchizedek isn't really a mystery to be solved like a detective story. It's a masterpiece of divine storytelling. He is the thread that connects God's promise to Abraham all the way to the priesthood of Christ. He shows that God's plan for a Savior was not a last-minute idea, but woven into the very fabric of history from the very beginning. He was a glimpse, a shadow of a greater reality. And that reality, according to the New Testament, is found in Jesus, the ultimate King of righteousness, the Prince of Peace, and our eternal High Priest.